Hi, today I am going to give you 5 ways that you can finish your quilts faster. It's not rocket science. These are just little things that you can do to make your quilt making a little speedier. Hopefully, that will help you in crunch time. Hi everybody, it is April and I'm in my craft room. And today I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to get your quilts done faster. I am also going to be featuring Stephanie Brandenburg and Tim Holtz fabric. Let's get started. And especially for you procrastinators out there. Procrastinators unite! Because, I'm one. The first thing that you can do to make your quilts faster is to use a less complicated pattern. For example, here is the 3-yard quilt book, One Block Wonder. What you are doing is you are taking one block design and you are making quilts. It is always faster when you have one design and you're going to make it over and over and over and over again. So once you get in the rhythm, there you go. You just whip it out. You can also find patterns that are easy but look more complicated. Some examples are another 3-yard quilt book. They make patterns really easy. You've got Sweet Times. Looks more complex than it is because of the layout. And all of these quilts, they don't look quite as easy as they are to make. And I'm sure that you have some patterns that you know of that are the same way. 2, when you see a pattern that you like, supersize the blocks. For example, I recently saw someone doing a charm quilt. They actually used one charm pack. It's not upside down. And they made a quilt. I'm going to use 10-inch squares. You don't have to have the pre-cuts. You can make it out of 12-inch squares. But it's going to be faster. The quilt is going to get bigger faster. And therefore, you don't have as much time involved. If you use these charm packs, it's going to take a lot more sewing to make the same size quilt that you would be making putting this layer cake together. 3, use pre-cuts. Now this option, it's a good option, but sometimes it just depends on your financial situation and whether or not there's a sale going on. Pre-cuts can be expensive unless you know that you want to use pre-cuts and you look for them on sale. Joann's has recently upped their game on pre-cuts. This is just one example, and I know it's from Halloween. This 12-piece fat quarter bundle starts out at $59.99, but catch it on sale, and that's $30 when you get a 50% coupon. And that's 12 fat quarters. Check out Joann's and their pre-cuts because they've upped their game. Charm packs. You can get 2 charm packs for a decent price. And there are all kinds of patterns out there for charm packs. You might have to add some yardage, but you probably have some in your stash. So don't forget about these little guys. And at your local shop, sometimes you're going to find the fat quarter bundles on sale. So keep your eye out for sales and just remember, pre-cuts make your quilts go faster. Another thing that can help you finish your quilts faster, blankets. This Sherpa fleece blanket, it is 108 inches by 94 inches. That's a queen size quilt. All you have to do is put it on the back of your quilt and quilt it. No cutting, no measuring, just put it there. You really probably don't even need batting with something that's thick like this. This blanket from Costco, $14.99. You can't beat it. I know that you know what my last suggestion is going to be, but you're going to be surprised with what I'm going to do with it today. Use a panel. I just cannot even communicate enough about how much fun they are, how pretty they can be, and how much faster they can make finishing a quilt. So that, since it is my 5th tip, I'm going to use that tip today. Let me show you how. First of all, there's a story behind this, and this is way more exciting than the story I told in my last video. When I went on my quilty road trip, it just so happens that the owner of the shop that is across the street from my aunt has a daughter who is a fabric designer, and her name is Stephanie Brandenburg. You may not be familiar with the name. Frond Designs is her studio name, and her fabric is everything I love. Flowers, jewel tones, paint splatter, wood grain, you name it, that's what she makes. And I am just so excited I got to go to her studio. So I'm going to throw some pictures in here of her studio. It is inspiring. It is fun. It is inventive. It just makes you want to buy everything and go quilt, or not even necessarily make quilts. And the really cool thing about her fabric is they're her artwork. It isn't something that, I don't even know how people make other fabrics or designs, but this is her artwork. I'm going to share with you a couple pieces that I got when I was there. Now, I know it's after Halloween, and I didn't get this done before Halloween. And the way she does her panels is kind of cool. She did a floral panel, and it was actually 2 panels, and you could join them together to make one giant floral panel. Very cool. This was her Halloween. And the rest of this is up on my design wall, and I'm going to make you suffer and wait until we go see it. And I am using it in my quilt today. This is actually the bottom of the panel. Now, some of her fabrics that I really loved, paint splatter. I love paint splatter. She had a whole collection of paint splatter. Nope, I'm not using any in this quilt. Trust me, I will be using her paint splatter. And then she had every color of wood grain that you could possibly imagine. So we've got the green and the brown, the pink and the purple, the gray and the brown, and then a couple pieces I'm going to be using in the quilt today. So enjoy some pictures of her studio, and you will be ready for me to start this quilt as soon as you get back from going through Stephanie Brandenburg's studio Frond Design. Isn't her studio awesome? I know. It was just, I'm so glad that I got to see her studio and meet her. Now, let me show you the fabrics. So this is the top part of the panel, and then this is the bottom. And I probably don't have it exactly the way it's supposed to be, but you get the idea. These two pieces can be put together to make one big long panel. But today, I am only using this panel. And I had an idea. I want to do a strip quilt. I'm using multiple techniques in this particular pattern, and I actually created this pattern. I'm going to use a panel, and although what I'm going to be doing is based on pre-cuts, I'm not actually using pre-cuts. Instead, I am supersizing. So instead of a strip quilt using jelly rolls or 2.5-inch strips, I'm going to be cutting out wider strips. Now let me find my pattern so I can show you what it's going to look like. I recently acquired EQ8 electric quilter, and I was just playing around. So I thought, you know what? Instead of drawing it all out, I'm going to put it on EQ8, and I'm going to print out my pattern. Well, you know, I'm not much on reading directions, so I have what I need, but I'm hoping it'll give me a little more next time. Maybe I should, I don't know, you know, like read a book or something. Essentially, this is going to be my pattern, and I've labeled A, B, C, D, E, and P, and those are the different size blocks. So I'm using strips, but I am cutting the strips. And if you look here, so block A, I even put my fabric in there. Block A is 13 by 5.5 or 5.5 by 13. And it's got this one particular fabric. Well, I'm actually going to use multiple fabrics. So here where it says A, if you refer to my handy dandy diagram, I'm going to have A here, here, here. There are multiple places that A is going to be. But I'm not, am I going to use the same fabric? I'm not using the same fabric for each of those. I'm using the same size fabric. So then I made block B and C and D and E, and then P is where my panel is going to go. And do you see what I'm going to do to my panel? I'm going to cut my panel into strips. This is with the fabric, so I'm going to have to lose, I'm thinking around 2 inches somewhere, but I think it'll be okay. I also have different width strips. So the strips that go along here are the 5.5 inches. Yeah. But the strips that go in between the panel pieces, they are going to be 2.5 inches. I still want you to be able to see what the panel did look like. I'm still going to cut it up. And if you look hard enough, I think you can see the face in the moon. I just love her. She's so good. I'm going to link down in the description below. She's got a YouTube channel, and she shows you what to do, what you can do with her different fabrics. She is a very talented lady. Let's go get cutting, because this quilt is going to be done just like that. This piece of fabric is by Tim Holtz, and it's called Alchemy. I love Tim Holtz, and I was able to find him at Stephanie's mom's shop. That shop was awesome. So was Stephanie's, but oh, So many good places to go and shop in Iowa. I have perfected my use of my fabric. Here I have my 2.5-inch strip, and I need a strip from that's 25.5 inches long. And I have this much fabric left. Now I have my 5.5-inch strip. I'm going to get rid of my selvage, and I need a 13-inch strip. And this is fabric A. Now I need a 25.5-inch strip, which leaves me this. And this is fabric B. And here I have my 8.5-inch. Now from this I need 19.25 inches. And that is fabric C. Here I have a piece that is not quite 23 inches. And I need another fabric B because I need 2 strips from 4 of my 6 fabrics, but this isn't long enough. And of course, this is my 5.5-inch strip, and that's not going to be enough. However, let's cut this 8.25 down to 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to attach this piece to this. I need 25.5 inches. And look, I now have just 25.5 inches. This is what I have left over. Not too shabby. Now, if you don't want to do any Franken fabric, then you can have scraps that you can make a scrappy quilt with. But I just wanted to show you that if you want to conserve some of your fabric, what you can do to not use as much. Okay, so I have sewn my strips vertically. So as you can tell, there aren't any seams that meet all the way across. So this particular pattern requires you to sew vertical rows. So I've sewn all of my vertical rows together. I have a little issue with some excess at the bottom, but I'll just be able to trim that. Hopefully I'll be able to figure out measurements exactly. So I'm going to put all these rows together, but before I do, I've got some shout outs. And I have a Kit Kat bar. So, you know, I'm going to eat my chocolate early. Kit Kat. I don't know what it is. They're one of my favorites. And at Christmas, they have like chocolate mint Kit Kats. Ugh. So good. Michelle B., thank you for the coffee. It was really good. And the chocolate, double chocolate brownie, yummy. Thank you, someone, for buying me a coffee. I appreciate someone, somewhere, sometime, somehow. Yeah, I tried. Nancy, thank you for supporting my caffeine addiction. I'm going to really enjoy those coffees. I got some comments on my breast cancer quilt. So I just want to shout these people out who have gotten their mammograms, and some of them, it saved their life. Kathy is one of those people. So Kathy, I am so glad to hear that getting your annual exam did some real good and that you're still here with us. Okay, let me sew these rows together and I'll come back and show you the final quilt. My quilt top is complete. This is not something that is typical of my work, but I kind of like it. It's something different. I don't usually cut apart a panel, but you know, I thought, let's do something different. I love all of the fabrics that I used. It's very abstract. And I think that this pattern will be great for fabric collections. Then you don't necessarily have to use a panel. You can just put maybe your favorite fabric out of a collection in these 3 spots, and it kind of highlights it because these are wider areas. I have a little one that's, I think she's a little sleepy. Are you a little sleepy? I do need to put a border around it, and I have on the pattern a 3.5-inch border all the way around, but I'm not sure what I'm going to use. And my brain is a little tired because, you know, I had to think a lot. So I will be putting a border, just not sure what it's going to be yet. Thank you for watching. I very much appreciate you taking the time. I hope that you enjoyed a little view of the studio of Frond Designs. Stephanie Brandenburg is just, her work is inspiring to me. And, you know, I got a little Tim Holtz mixed in there too. I really like Tim Holtz. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye. You say bye? Bye, bye, bye. Really? Blah, 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 blah. This fat yard bundle, hot flash. They're very, very, when I was in, she did a floral, wow. Or my panner.